Hello, and welcome to the Vocal 360 Vocal Health Series. So this is the holistic health and maintenance session, and I'm very excited to share this with all of you. Thank you so much for coming this evening. I am very glad to be able to put this on tonight for all of you, and I'm happy to be connected with some new faces. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm your coach, Mark Tress, and I've had 15 years of performance experience at a professional level. I've been working for quite some time now in some crossover genres, and I've also had the opportunity to do some producing. Through my producing credits, I've actually been blessed with the opportunity to produce some a cappella music in Virginia and wound up winning a CARA Award, which is a Contemporary A Cappella Recording Award, the same ceremony that the Pentatonics were actually in, which is pretty cool. I spent some time in Ohio working at the Helen Swank Lab, and I was a lab assistant there working on the voice and doing various different research projects, checking out the voice and seeing, what we could do to actually benefit singers from a scientific perspective. So had some research background there as well. And then the program that I run is actually an international coaching program. So I'm fortunate to have clients from Singapore, Greece, England, and several other countries around the world as well. And last but not least, part of what I do is in the singing health specialization. So I work as a liaison for the doctors and the musicians. So I'm the one that can be in between and mediate for that. Oftentimes, singers will be in a position where they are navigating whether or not to take a break from their career or actually persist with some vocal therapy to be able to get back into shape and perform at a high level. I'm there every step of the way to help with these pros, keeping them happy, healthy, and ongoing. These are some pictures I just added to sort of talk about my background a little bit and give you more insight on what I do and what I've done in the past. So again, I started off classically. I sang opera for quite some time and still continue to do that. I sing down here at the Nashville Opera, and I spent many years on stage singing opera and classical music and learning from the classical technique. I also have the great fortune of being able to sing in different genres of music and have had many opportunities to do so. This next picture over here is actually me singing Bring Him Home with Carson Rose Schneider, who is wonderful. And we just recently did a music video of Bring Him Home, which is obviously in the theater repertoire. A little bit more about my program. I run the Vocal 360 Global Program, and this is a multi-genre. Just realized there's a spelling error there. Sorry, I'm human, I guess. But this is a multi-genre coaching opportunity. So there are tons of different artists that come in and work with me from various different styles, and we go over all sorts of vocal and stylizations with them. This is also a program that provides artist mentorship. So I speak with artists here in the United States and around the world about their legacy voice. What does it mean to discover your legacy voice? How does that represent you and your brand? And what does it mean to actually approach that from a vocal perspective? We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. And this is also a national network now. I'm very pleased to say that. I have people that I've been interfacing with and working with here in Nashville and obviously throughout the country. So people who work within the Vocal 360 program have access to that wonderful and growing network. All of my clients have had wonderful success. Some of them are at a higher level than others, but I've been very fortunate to be able to work with some incredibly talented people. My clients have had over 10 million streams on Spotify and other streaming services. They've collaborated with Grammy Award-winning producers, opened up for acts such as Lady A and Amy Grant. They've had multiple sync deals for Amazon Prime Originals, and they've also had national and international success, including tours, Broadway, TV, and cruise ships. All right, so vocal health and why we should care about it. I get a lot of vocalists that come to me and they talk to me about their voice and they say, well, my voice sounds really raspy and I like it that way. And, this is my brand and this is my style. This is the genre I'm singing. And the answer to that is actually, yes, you're exactly right. Most people would say, oh no, you have to fix your voice. You have to get it exactly perfect. Well, to some degree, yes, you might need to adjust your voice, but to change it is not the business that I'm in. My goal is to help you communicate in the best way possible and to keep your voice as healthy as possible for the way that you need to be using it. Now, will I let you destroy your voice time and time again and hope that you recover? No, I can't let you do that, right? That's my job to keep you healthy. But we need to really zone in and focus on why vocal health matters and how it pertains to the longevity and the legacy of our career. So some common issues that we run into are hoarseness, right? You get that sound from your voice after you're singing a long time or raising your voice at a game or something like that, and you get this hoarse sort of sound. You might also come across vocal strain or vocal fatigue, where your voice is tired, you've been using it for a long period of time, and it's just not behaving normally. Also, you might encounter some tension. I have a lot of athlete friends that also sing, actually, and they come across tension in a different form that we're used to as singers. If you have muscular tension on the outside of your larynx, that can also affect your voice as well. So this is a common vocal issue that we have to address. Last but not least, we have dryness, and dryness is normal, and we face it all the time. Dryness is actually one of the main factors that contributes to having vocal issues. We'll talk about this a little bit more, and I have a tip for you too that's going to be really helpful. But dryness is something that we need to mitigate as we're going about keeping a vocal health status. Now, some of the potential outcomes that we can see from these issues, and I went 0 to 100 here because it is pretty serious. If you have routine dryness and hoarseness and vocal strain and acid reflux, this will create permanent damage, okay? It will create a loss of range and unfortunately maybe even losing some money from some gigs. So we want to avoid that at all costs, okay? Now, this is vocal maintenance, what we're talking about, right? We want to maintain a level of proficiency with our voice. One of the tips that I'm going to pass along to you today, and this is something that you may have already seen, and if you've not seen this yet, then great. This is going to be something new that you can latch onto and use for a very long time, because this is wonderful. This is straw phonation. I'm using just a coffee stir straw here. I got it from Walmart. You can get it from Starbucks and steal it elsewhere. But what you're going to do with this is you're going to place it into your mouth and you're going to sing as you would normally. Now, what I like to do is I like to keep a little bit more resonance in the back of my mouth, open up my throat a little bit more, and you'll feel some of the back pressure from the straw. Now, this is part of the semi-occluded vocal tract exercise that works to strengthen the neuromuscular connection of your voice. Whew. What does that mean, right? So this exercise helps to build up the relationship between your brain and your voice, and it also builds up the muscles and the progressions involved with your vocal folds. So I'll show you a little demonstration. I like to start F to B flat for my lower voices. It sounds like this. All right. And the good thing about this exercise, this is actually something specific I want to pass on to you. The descending pattern of a fifth, F to B flat, that descending pattern actually helps to engage the TA muscle, or what we call the thyroarytenoid muscle. Now, this is really important for belting. So if you're a rock singer or a pop singer, you just use your chest voice a lot, the belting sound is something that we can actually build. We can build up that muscle group as we're using the descending pattern. So I typically love that exercise with the straw because that helps lower voice singers really build up the TA muscle. If I was a treble voice singer, I would be up here probably starting on an F sharp or also on an F to a B flat, doing the same exercise, again, increasing in volume as you decrease in pitch. One more thing that I'm also going to pass along for you with the straw, I suggest you sing in your head voice as well. I often suggest that my singers sing in their head voice and bring that head voice down and blend it into their chest voice with the straw. This is a really good way of navigating the different registers and keeping yourself in a nice, healthy, balanced vocal production place. Next up is vocal hydration. So This is, I'm going to show you the VocalMist, which is an isotonic nebulizer, isotonic saline nebulizer to be specific. Now, I don't work for this company. I wish I created it, but alas, I didn't. Aaron Shoemaker created this. I'll show you. It looks like this. Pretty cool device. And I'll pour some saline into the top and show you here exactly what happens. So it starts off as an isotonic saline. And once I turn the button on and it wakes up here, it's going to turn the saline solution into a mist. Amazing, right? Now, a lot of people think that this is a hot or warm mist like a steamer, but it's really not. It's just a room temperature saline mist. Now, you might say, okay, Mark, why is that helpful? Why is that important? Well, hydration is key, right? We were just talking about this. It's very, very important to get hydration to your vocal folds. So if you are in a dry environment or you just haven't been drinking a whole lot of water, one of the best things that you can do is actually hydrate from the outside in. Now, oftentimes we might use steam and we might use that to get some of the gunk off our vocal folds and warm up our voice a little bit. Now, the problem with steam, and I used it for years and continue to use it occasionally as well, the problem with steam is that hot steam can actually negatively affect the tissue and potentially even enlarge or swell up some of the tissue. So the saline component, when it's nebulized into a mist form and breathed into the voice passing the vocal folds, that can actually hydrate the vocal folds. And that's exactly what we want when we're continuing to have a healthy voice and maintain that longevity of our career and our singing voice. Finally, we're up to the balloon exercise. Now, this is a new technique that's been developed by Judy Rodman. I'm happy to say that I was helping her facilitate some of this as she discovered this new technique. You'll see here in a second a video that we created together. Now, this balloon exercise involves you putting the balloon into your mouth. You blow it up as you would normally, but you're going to use your voice behind the inflation of the balloon. Okay, so essentially what it is it's just singing with the balloon in your mouth. Now, this might seem kind of counterintuitive, but we're going to relate this back to the semi-occluded vocal tract exercise where the mouth is closed just a little bit with that balloon, and the pressure can actually be felt in the balloon itself. So you'll get some tactile feedback as well. This is very helpful for singers, gets you opening up your resonance and increasing that vocal ease. So I'm going to try and play this video here.
Now, you're going to imagine blowing sound into the balloon, and like a reed, you're going to try to vibrate the outside and the inside of the skin of the balloon. So try that. Ooh. Ooh. Good. Now let's add something. I want you to pull back a little bit as you blow forward. You're going to pull back and you're going to drop your jaw. So that little, you can twist a little bit. This is not, digging your chin into your chest. Try that.
But the balloon goes into your mouth and you'll get the tactile feedback by holding onto it. And it's very easy to do scales and staccato motion and even sing your piece. You'll sing a normal ah through it and it'll be great feedback for your voice. You'll really start to understand that relationship with your vocal folds. All right. So another thing we want to talk about is before you warm up, what exactly is taking place? And after your warm up, how did that warm up benefit you? So before warming up, you have a weaker muscular connection, neuromuscular connection. And that basically means your brain is not necessarily awake to what needs to be happening with your voice for singing. It's lacking hydration. So your vocal folds are lacking the fluids, the interstitial fluids that your body would be producing. When you do start to warm up, that tells your body that the fluids need to be pumping and that that hydration needs to be flowing. So part of the warm up is actually drinking tons of water, staying hydrated, and not just a few minutes before you get on stage. That actually does squat. We want you to be hydrating well before, several hours, if not the day before, so that that hydration can really work inside out. And if you have the VocalMist, you can use the hydration from outside in. Another thing that we're going to be facing here is the difference between our speaking resonance and our vocal resonance for singing. Our speaking resonance is usually a little bit more lax. It's more compressed, smaller, We're not using as much breath to help with the resonance, that sort of thing. So before our warm-up, we need to make sure that that is being addressed. Now, after you've done all these things, after you're doing your straw phonation, you're using the hydrating formula for the saline, and you're vocalizing, what are the benefits of all of this? Well, first of all, it's longevity, right? You want to be in a position where your body remembers how to use your voice efficiently. So after your warm-up, you have a greater mind-body awareness, right? This means that your brain is more connected to your vocal folds, knows what it should and shouldn't be doing, and is way more conscious and effective towards producing a clear tone. The vocal flexibility combines with the proper laryngeal relationship, the laryngeal muscle relationship specifically. And this is really important too, because again, when we're doing other activities throughout the day, we're not really using certain muscles that work appropriately for singing. So we want to focus on the vocal flexibility and that relationship to the laryngeal muscles, paying attention to activating some and deactivating some others. Last but not least, we all know this, after warming up, you have easier vocal production. Now, this is increased when you have a better level of vocal hydration. So, all this to say, I'd love to help you out and continue this process with any of you who are interested. I'm so happy that you checked in with me and you got the message to be joining this evening for this free seminar. Another thing, and probably one of the reasons why you're here, I'm been very fortunate enough to open 10 new slots in my studio. So this is something I haven't had the chance to do in a very long time. And I'm so stoked because this means 10 more opportunities to collaborate with artists around the world. So I want to work with you. I want to help you out, and I want to give you my resources so that you could be a better singer, performer, musician, and discover your legacy voice. So I'm offering 2 different kinds of sessions here, a vocal coaching session or an artist mentorship session, both in 30-minute sessions and 60-minute long programs. So just to distinguish here, the vocal coaching, that's, again, we're going to be focusing on your voice and the health level of your voice and what you need to do to improve the strength and power and the flexibility and your range and your tone and all those kinds of things. The stylization along with your music, those sort of topics. Now, with artist mentorship, this is something that I'm offering, and this is a new addition to my sessions here. I've been able to offer 10 slots, and those slots also now include the artist mentorship slots, which is really wonderful, and I'm so happy I'm able to do it. The artist mentorship involves coaching on your brand, your mindset, the way that you discover and implement your legacy voice, and that comes in many different ways. That's the way that you speak on behalf of yourself in your lyrics, how you present yourself, who you're communicating to, what your social media looks like, the message you're delivering, who you are as a brand, what you're representing, those kinds of things, and how you can actually work to create a legacy for yourself and dive into the music business with the proper resources. So I'm thrilled to be able to connect anyone within the mentorship program. And I also have a national network of experts that are helping my artists as well. So with the artist mentorship and the coaching, you have access to me as well as anybody that I think would be valuable for your growth as an artist. The sessions are $60 for a half-hour session and $120 for a 60-minute session. The packages increase in the amount of sessions, and they get cheaper, obviously, as you get higher into the 8 and 12 package sessions. I highly suggest if anybody's going to be touring and they know that they're going to want a lot of different sessions to keep up on their voice, it gets more valuable if you get a little bit higher. So just reach out to me and say, hey, Mark, I'm going to be touring and I need to grab 8 sessions while I'm on tour, and we'll just get you booked right ahead. And that way you guys can save a little bit more money as well. All right. Last but not least, I say this to all of my artists, and I want to pass this along with you today. The whole purpose of keeping our voice healthy and maintaining this high level of behavior is to discover our legacy voice. I'm going to say that again. Discover your legacy voice. Now, what does that mean? Well, If your voice is working on all cylinders, it's happy, healthy, content, you can sing the way you want to sing, you can expand your register, you can communicate the message, you are able to leave behind a legacy that is attached to your brand and who you are as an artist. So part of the Vocal 360 program includes brand awareness, your voice, the music that you write, all of those things put together helps you discover your legacy voice. I'd love to continue to keep in touch with all of you. If you are joining me today, thank you. I'm so glad to meet all of you and to be connected with you. I'd love to keep in touch with you. And if you're not in a position now where you can actually sign up for individual coachings or some of the coaching packages, I actually have plenty of content that you can take advantage of on TikTok or on Instagram. There's some on Facebook as well. But I've listed here, my Instagram is @MarkTress. TikTok is @Tress.Mark. I guess I'm confusing people these days. But my website, you can also follow me there and all the content that I'm creating there at marktress.com. Thank you all so very much for joining tonight. It's been a pleasure to connect with some new faces and some new people that are interested in discovering your legacy voice. Thank you and have a great night.